Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of the young protagonist from Nier Replicant version 1.22474487113. Yeah, you heard that right. You can thank Yoko Taro for that. Pretty much what Nier Replicant version 1.2 is a re-release or a remaster of the Japanese version of Nier Replicant that came out I think 2010. And Nier Replicant came out like 2021, the second version, based off the Japanese version of the game. There was an American version of the game too, but regardless, this figure is based off of this version 1.2. We'll say that from here on out to save ourselves some time. And this figure is a 1/12 scale from Bring Arts, which is owned by Square Enix, which of course released the game as well. And so it's interesting because SH Figure Arts owns some of the Nier stuff. I know they have some of the figures I reviewed were from the anime series that came out I think last year. But this is owned by Square Enix, so we have two different licenses going on at the same time. And so we'll review this figure next to those Bring Arts ones, or I mean the Square Enix ones, and see how it compares. But starting off here, some nice packaging for the figure. You see the game logo at the top there, Nier Replicant version 1.2, and then the Square Enix Bring Arts logo there. Open face packaging lets you see the figure and all the contents. There we have young protagonist, and I think you can name your character yourself in the game. A lot of people call this guy Nier, but for this, young protagonist is his name. And here's your warning. It's for ages 15 and up. Of course, a choking hazard for those that are 3 and under. And then here's the proof that this is a officially licensed product. I bought this from the Square Enix site. When I bought it, it was on sale for $50. It normally runs, I believe, like $85. So I got a really good deal on this one. Pretty happy about that. And I think BBTS has it on sale as of today when I'm recording this. And I'll probably be uploading the same day or so. But if you want this figure, it looks like it goes on sale rather often. I don't know how well this sold. But yeah, here's a side view of the box. And then the back, like most Square Enix products, you get some pictures of the figure. I really like this stance right here. And that's probably how I'll display the figure with Grimoire Vice. We'll talk about that. I just really like how some of these things look. Obviously, there's some Photoshop going on, but really cool looks. We'll try and strike some of these poses when we open this guy up. But here's some legalese, different languages. Talks about the type of plastics that are used, along with some metal in the base. And then there's your UPC. And here's the bottom. So yeah, really cool packaging. Looking forward to this figure. I'm hoping that the joints are nice and solid. But we'll see. So let's go ahead and get this guy open. All right, so here is some directions on the figure. It shows you how the hands go. Looks like he's got 4 left hands and 3 right hands. And then the hands that can hold the sword. And then down here we see where the sword can be held along with the knife, where that goes. And then we see here where the book, Grimoire Vice, how the display stand has different ways of holding the book, which is really cool. I think that's a cool little touch they did there. And then on the back of this instruction just kind of shows the figure base. Standard fare for Bring Arts figures. And then some legalese in different languages. But then here's the figure in the packaging. So I just took the top layer off. You can see his swords there. He does come with both swords, which is nice. I forget the names of those swords. I can't remember. And then there's the knife down here. There's the figure. It looks really detailed very nicely. I like how Bring Arts gives you the stand for the hands. Really cool touch. They do that. And then there's Grimoire Vice. Can't wait to take a look at him. And then the bottom tray is just the stand with all the extra pieces. If I can get this thing out. Yeah, it's a stand with all the extra pieces. So let's go ahead and get this stuff all out of packaging and take a closer look. Okay, and here is the young protagonist and everything he comes with. I did have a QC issue right out of the package in articulating the figure. This part on the chest fell off. It's just glued on. I haven't glued it back on, but yeah, right out of the box that fell off. So that's never a good sign. Overall, the figure feels good articulation-wise. We'll get into that in a minute, but a little disappointing when stuff falls off a figure right out of the box. But here is everything he comes with. I noticed one of these swords is in a scabbard, and I don't believe it actually unsheaths. It's designed to be on his back, but they give you a version that's not with the scabbard you can use up here. And then there's the knife, which, as far as I realize, the knife doesn't come out of that sheath. It's molded in, which is a bit disappointing. It's cool that you can plug it into his back, but the fact you can't use the dagger is disappointing. It should be able to be pulled out. And then here's the hands. Good detail on the hands. If I zoom in a little bit more, some nice paint work, good paint apps, pretty good at least, with those designs on top of the gloves. And then here's the other side, just black gloves. Looks pretty good though. And then Grimoire Vice, here he is. And he opens. They're plastic. It's not like real pages, but there's some words in there. I wonder if anyone knows this language, which I don't. This actually says anything. Do we have any Nier language readers out there? If so, let me know what this says. It's pretty cool. And it closes. So that's really cool. The book looks really good. The details, the paintwork is done really well. And Grimoire Vice. It's hard to say. And then here's all the pieces for the stand. And we'll get into that and how it can hold the figure. There's 2 different size clamps for the figure. And then these pieces are for the book, to hold the book when it's open, closed. And then there's a little piece there for that to stand up the book on the actual stand. But here's the figure, the male protagonist, or protagonist, young protagonist they call him. And the hair, it's almost like translucent, kind of like clouds are with some of the Play Arts Kai figures. I think it looks really good. I think the detail in the face, it looks just like the game model. Maybe actually better detail in the figure, honestly. But he has a little bit of a ponytail and back, which does not move. And I would warn to be careful with that because it looks like it's just a small piece of plastic connecting it. So I could see that being broken off if you're not careful. But details on this figure, paint apps, seem to be really good. Apart from this piece that's fallen off, and I'll show you, see? It's just the glue, it wasn't glued on very well, and you can see it just came right off, which is a bummer. I have some glue, I can glue it, but I hate when stuff falls off a figure right out of the box. But there's some more detail there. You see his necklace, really cool looking. I love the print on the cloak. His shorts, his boots with the stitching, the laces, looks really good. Even on the end of the boots, you got some nice design, like bronze work. Yeah, figure looks really good. Paint-wise, there's a stamp there, Square Enix made in China on the back of the shorts. And I believe this one doesn't move. That one doesn't move. It's actually plastic. But there are metal rings on that piece that fell off. This is an actual metal ring. You can hang part of the sword on there. If this was glued on, we could hang the scabbard of the sword. And anyway, that's how it's supposed to hang there or plug into the back here. Yeah, but overall, this is a soft rubbery plastic, this cloak. So it can give you some better articulation. So speaking of articulation, let's zoom out here and just kind of go over articulation for a minute. Head's on a ball joint, and it does a really good job looking down. Back, not so much because of the collar and the ponytail and the hair. So he can look just a little up, not much. But, you got good range here. And the neck comes off real easy. And this is a ball joint as well at the base of the neck. That moves. So it gives you a little bit more articulation, which is nice. The arms go up 90. And those joints feel really nice and buttery. This is those Play Arts Kai joints. So you got to turn it a certain way to get the arm to go forward. And even then, it's a challenge. But yeah, this will rotate at the shoulder and also at the cuff here. There's a rotation. So that gives you a single joint, but it goes over 90. You got your gloves there. I think this joint's hidden really nice. They did a good job with this elbow joint. I like it. And then ball hinge wrists, which work really good as well. But yeah, and then the shoulders do drop and go up. So like most Play Arts Kai, Bring Art stuff. And then up in here, you have an upper torso ball joint and a lower torso ball joint. So you can get some good, good range for this figure to move around. He bends forward pretty good and bends back pretty good. And the legs, you got a rotation at the thigh on this leg and at the short there, the hip. This leg, though, I can't seem to move the thigh. It must be frozen. I haven't tried heating it, but this thigh won't move, but the shorts do rotate. And then knees are double jointed, so you get really good range there. And they feel good. The joints are nice and tight, really good joints. I like it. And then the feet are on ball hinge pegs, no toe articulation. And really can't get any rocker because they're on ball hinge. If they were just ball joints, you could get more rocker on this, but they're not. So I think that's one thing where Square Enix needs to do a better job is their ankle articulation with their figures so that they can do better with rockers for getting more dynamic poses. But overall, good articulation. And like I said, the joints feel good. It almost feels like an SHF figure, maybe even a Mafex. Mafex has done a better job lately of getting some tighter joints. So let's go ahead and get some poses struck with this guy right now. All right, so here's the first pose I struck, and I was able to actually strike this pose right here. So I'm really excited whenever I can strike an actual pose they show in the promo shots, because a lot of times they Photoshop stuff, they pull arms out of sockets, whatever they can do to make it look really cool. But this was minimal posing. I think it looks really good. Again, that front piece is off his chest. I haven't glued it back on. I'm not going to for this review, but it's too bad that came off. But anyway, this looks really cool. He has a Grimoire Vice open, and he's looking off to the side. He's holding his sword on the end there. It's attached to his back. If I turn this turntable on, let's see here. It's getting an idea of how he looks. Yeah, so there it is. The sword's attached to his back, as you can see. Got the clamp on the figure to hold it in place so he doesn't fall. I could have balanced him, I think, without the clamp, the display stand, but I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like with the display stand in place. It's like he's walking down a stair or something. Yeah, really cool. And that's the grimoire is just balancing on his arm there. It's not like pegged in or anything. And it seems to be doing good on the turntable, not falling. So I think this is a really cool look. This is probably the pose I'm going to use. I like it a lot. Let's try one with Grimoire Vice separate. All right, here's another pose I struck. Not as good as I would have hoped for, trying to recreate this one right here. This one looks a lot more dynamic than what I came up with, but it's close. I had the book closed. This stand is kind of funky how this thing works. It would have been nice if they would have given it a separate stand like 2B and 9S have. They have a separate stand for their pods. But in order to have the grimoire up, you have to have him on the base, on the flight arm that you would use to hold him. And I don't think there's a way to do both. It's either you use a clamp for the figure, or you use this setup for Grimoire Vice. So if you want to have him floating and have the figure clamp so he doesn't fall like in your display cabinet, I don't think that's able to do that. But regardless, still pretty cool. There's this sword, and that knob on the end of the handle comes off, and then you just slide the sword hilt through the hand, and it goes in real easy. The knob goes back on. Just be careful. That knob can be easy to lose if it falls off. Yeah, pretty cool. And there's Grimoire Vice being held up by this plastic piece, as you can see right there. Pretty cool. Let's do some comparisons. All right, and here is the young protagonist from Nier Replicant version 1.2 next to 2B and 9S from Nier Automata, which is actually the anime show. But regardless, those Nier Automata figures are from SH Figure Arts. But as you can see, they scale up nearly perfect. I would say the young protagonist is just a little bit shorter than 9S. But overall, I mean, they fit perfect in together. So really cool. Two different companies, Bring Arts and SHF Figure Arts, but the figures look great together. Let's do one more comparison. All right, here's two more Bring Arts figures from Square Enix: Cloud Strife and Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. And, you know, they're the same, they're ball Bring Art, so they match up pretty good. I think the young protagonist is a little shorter, although he's a little bit taller than Tifa, but he's definitely shorter than Cloud. But, you know, if you have a Bring Arts collection of Square Enix stuff, or if you have SH Figure Arts stuff, I think this is going to match up really good with those two lines. So at the end of the day, is this figure worth it? I think if it's on sale, it's definitely worth it. I'm glad I didn't pay full price for this, especially when this, you know, this piece fell off right out of the box. Again, it's just glued on, I know, and I can easily glue it back on. But for spending, you know, 85 bucks for a figure, full price, that shouldn't be an issue outside of the box. But again, I got him for 50 on sale at the Square Enix shop, North America. And I believe Big Bad Toy Store has them on sale right now for, I think, like 67. So if you're a big Nier fan and you like Nier Replicant, maybe you've played version 1.2 and you enjoy it a lot, and the male protagonist or this young protagonist is someone you really like, yeah, definitely worth it. I would say positives. The paint apps are really good. And I would say also the articulation. Good articulation and nice tight articulation. I'm not afraid that this figure is going to have a loose joint anytime soon, which is a big bonus for those that collect figures like this, especially if you're going to display them. I love Grimoire Weiss. I like the different options they gave for him to be displayed. But I think at the end of the day, this is the look I would give my figure. I think it's a cool look. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. You know, have you played Nier Replicant's version 1.2? And if so, what did you think? Who's your favorite character in that game? There's a couple options, including the book right there. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you like this, you know, give me a like, thumbs up, you know, a comment, subscribe if you like. And until next time, this has been Square Enix Bring Arts Nier Replicant Young Protagonist.